When you're a teenager, you think moving out is going to solve everything. Freedom, fun, adventure, maybe even romance. That was the plan for me and my best friend, Paul. We'd been talking about it since we were 13. By 19, we finally did it. We packed up, left home, and headed for the city, two small-town kids chasing a big city dream. Our dream setup? A cool loft, two sports cars, and a long list of admirers. Reality? A cramped apartment above a store, no car, and an endless relationship with the city bus. Paul worked part-time as a busboy back home, and I washed dishes at a Chinese restaurant. We'd saved every penny to afford the deposit. Now that we were here, we realized something terrifying. The dream costs money, and we had none. Still, we kept our spirits up. We watched old movies, wandered around malls, and made big plans about our future, where we'd work, who we'd become, and how we'd finally stand out. The problem was, I already stood out, just not in the way I wanted. I was short, soft around the middle, and had hair that my mom called messy, but I thought looked artistic. My nose had been broken once, so my voice came out a little high-pitched. Basically, I looked like a guy who never quite figured out his style. Paul was the quiet one, slim, shy, and polite. Together, we were the invisible duo. Nobody noticed us, especially not the people we wanted to impress. But we didn't care. We had the city. We had each other. And for the first time, no parents, no rules, no curfews. That is, until our money started running out. Paul was the responsible one. One morning he said, "Kelly, if we don't find work soon, we're going back home." He wasn't wrong. I tied back my messy hair, threw on my cleanest shirt, and we hit the streets looking for jobs. We started with restaurants, cafes, and stores that had help-wanted signs. Most places said, "We'll call you." None of them did. By the end of the day, we sat in our apartment, comparing notes like two detectives who'd hit nothing but dead ends. Paul had tried fancy restaurants and nightclubs. I stuck to smaller diners and retail shops. Neither of us had any luck, but for the first time, we realized something. Life on your own isn't about freedom. It's about finding your footing in a world that doesn't care whether you make it or not. The next day, Paul got a job at one of the coolest nightclubs in town. It was called the Shark Club, the kind of place everyone talked about because it had lights, music, and that electric, city night energy. Paul worked in the kitchen, proud to finally be doing something steady. I, on the other hand, wasn't so lucky. A whole month passed, and no one had called me back. My savings were vanishing, and to make things worse, I was feeling tired and out of shape. I'd gained nearly 15 pounds since moving out, most of it showing around my stomach and chest. Paul used to tease me about it, saying, "Man, you'd better start hitting the gym," and I'd laugh it off. But one afternoon at the bank, a little kid pointed at me and asked his mom whether I was a man or a woman. That one innocent question hit me harder than I expected. For the first time, I really looked at myself, tired, unhealthy, and lost. That night, I decided to make a change. I'd see a doctor, start working out, do something to get control back. But I couldn't afford a doctor, not without a job. As I walked home, I passed through the Chinese district, lanterns glowing red and gold, the air filled with the scent of herbs and incense. A small shop caught my eye. Its faded sign read, "Traditional Chinese medicine, healing, energy renewal." In the window, hand-painted words promised cures for migraines, better sleep, and even weight loss. Desperate and curious, I went inside. An elderly woman behind the counter greeted me softly. The air smelled like dried flowers and something faintly metallic. I explained I wanted to lose weight, and she nodded, listening carefully. Then she said, $20. Includes treatment and consultation. I agreed. She led me behind a curtain into a dim little room where an even older man waited. His eyes were pale and cloudy, but somehow they still seemed to see me. He didn't speak English, but he touched my hands, my forehead, and the sides of my neck, as if reading something beneath the skin. After a few minutes, he wrote symbols on a small piece of paper and handed it to the woman outside. She nodded knowingly, then began taking small amounts of herbs from jars and grinding them together until the mixture looked like tea leaves. "This will help your balance," she said. "Drink 2 cups a day. Eat the leaves too. They hold the strength." Results will come soon and continue even after the tea is finished. She gave me a small jar, a wooden spoon, and a faint smile. I left $20 lighter, holding a bag of mystery tea that smelled both strange and earthy. Walking home, I couldn't help but wonder what kind of change I'd just invited into my life. That evening, I told Paul about my visit to the little Chinese shop. He laughed, shaking his head as he watched me stir the strange mixture into a cup of steaming tea. "Well," he said, "if it makes you glow in the dark, I'm calling the news." We both laughed, and I drank it down. It tasted earthy and bitter, but not terrible. Nothing happened right away, so Paul went off to bed. About half an hour later, something strange happened, not in a scary way, just unexpected. I suddenly felt energized. My body tingled, my legs felt restless, and for the first time in years, I wanted to move. So I put on an old pair of sweats and went for a jog, my first one since high school. To my surprise, I kept going. Block after block, I ran for almost 35 minutes before stopping. I came home sweaty but alive, like something inside me had finally switched on. After a shower, I noticed something odd. A bit of my body hair had come off while washing. I brushed it off as nothing, just part of the detox or whatever the tea was supposed to do. The next morning, I brewed another cup. The moment I drank it, that same wave of energy hit me again, warm, powerful, focused. I pulled on some shorts and went for another run. This time, it lasted nearly 50 minutes. When I got back, I felt incredible. My skin looked clearer, smoother even. My chest, usually covered in hair, now looked almost bare. Weird side effect, I thought, but if it helps me lose weight, I'll take it. That afternoon, as I wiped the fog off the bathroom mirror, I froze. My reflection looked different. The tired eyes, the rough skin, they were fading. My chest looked smoother, my face softer. I told myself it was just the lighting. Still, I couldn't deny the results. My body was changing fast. Within 5 days, I'd lost 15 pounds. My stomach had flattened, my legs were leaner, and I felt stronger and lighter. Every morning, I ran for an hour, twice a day, and never felt tired. It was like the tea had unlocked something in me. Even Paul noticed. "Dude, your transformation is insane," he said one morning. "You look healthier. Like, actually glowing." He wasn't wrong. My skin was smoother, my hair looked thicker, shinier. I'd even started washing and brushing it daily, just because it felt good to take care of myself again. By the 10th day, I'd lost another 20 pounds. My old clothes were hanging off me, and my body had taken on a slimmer, more athletic shape. The only strange thing was my chest. It wasn't shrinking as fast as the rest of me. I figured it was just part of the process. Paul lent me some of his extra clothes, a tracksuit, a few sweatshirts, and some shorts for running. Since he was covering rent and food while I job hunted, I was grateful. "Thanks, man," I told him. "You're a real friend." He smiled. "Just promise me that tea doesn't turn you into a superhero or something." We laughed, but deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling that something extraordinary really was happening inside me. On the 15th evening of my program, I brewed the final cup of that mysterious tea and drank it slowly. I felt a little sad when the last drop was gone, like I was closing the final chapter of a strange but powerful ritual. The next morning, I stepped on the scale. I could hardly believe the number staring back at me. I'd lost 55 pounds in less than 3 weeks. Even Paul's oversized sweatshirts hung loose on me now. My stomach was flat and firm, my waist narrow. But oddly, the changes weren't even. My chest and hips hadn't slimmed down the same way. I ran a hand down my midsection. My skin felt softer than ever before, almost silky. The sensitivity startled me, and I splashed cold water on my face to clear my head. "Focus," I told myself. "It's just the tea working." When I mentioned my uneven weight loss to Paul, he looked me up and down, shrugged, and said, "Give it time. Your body's just catching up." A few days later, he had a day off, and we decided to relax. We spent the afternoon hanging out, laughing about old times, and ended the night with what we called classic guy fun, grabbing a few drinks and people watching downtown. The next morning, my head was pounding from the night before. I skipped my usual jog and stepped on the scale again, 135 pounds. Somehow, I'd lost 10 more. I took a long shower, letting the hot water clear my foggy mind. When I reached out for a towel, I realized I'd forgotten one. As I turned to grab it, I froze. Paul had walked into the bathroom without me hearing. He stared, eyes wide. "Kelly, what happened to you?" "What do you mean?" I asked, startled. "Man, your body, you've changed even more. You've got this small waist and curves. It's wild." I laughed awkwardly. "Come on, Paul. Don't make it weird. It's just from losing weight too fast. My body's still catching up." He tilted his head, still studying me. "Seriously, dude, you could totally pass as a girl right now. Maybe it's that tea of yours." "Relax," I said, trying to keep it light. "It's temporary. I'll look normal again soon." But Paul wasn't letting it go. His eyes lit up with sudden mischief. "Wait, this could actually be amazing." "What are you talking about?" "Think about it," he said, grinning. "You could go undercover. Pretend to be a girl for a bit. You could learn what women really think about guys, what they like, what they don't. It's genius." I stared at him. "You can't be serious." "Oh, I'm dead serious," he said. "Imagine what we could learn. You could blend in, talk to women, figure out what makes them tick. You'd be like a secret agent for the rest of us." I couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of it. "You're unbelievable." He leaned back, smiling like a kid who'd just discovered a cheat code. "I'm telling you, Kelly, this could be the best experiment ever." And as ridiculous as it sounded, a small part of me wondered what would happen if he was right. "I don't think I could pull this off," I told Paul. "It would never work. There's no way I'd look convincing." Paul crossed his arms. "There are ways to make it work, dude. And you owe me for rent and food. Think of it as payback and good fun. I'll even buy what you need to look the part. Then, once things settle and you're back to normal, I'll help you get brand new guy clothes. At least let me choose what I wear," I said. He grinned. "Deal. We'll go shopping together. That'll be our first big mission. But first things first, you need to clean up. No way you're trying on anything while looking like a 1960s rock drummer. Take a proper bath. I'll head to the thrift store and grab a few things to start with." Before I could protest, he'd already thrown on a jacket and left. I filled the tub, tied my long hair back, and stared at my reflection in the mirror. Everything about this felt way too fast, but part of me was curious. As the warm water filled the room with steam, I picked up the razor. If I was doing this, I might as well commit. Bit by bit, I tidied up arms, legs, the whole lot. When I stepped out and wrapped a towel around myself, I caught my reflection again. Smooth skin, narrow waist, long hair framing my face. I looked different. Softer. Paul came back about half an hour later, carrying 2 shopping bags. His excitement filled the whole apartment. "I just grabbed a few things to get us started," he said. "A sweater, jeans, some basics. Told the lady they were for my little sister. You're about that size now." I raised an eyebrow. "You've been planning this, haven't you?" He just grinned. "Don't worry, we'll do the full shopping trip together. This is just phase 1. He handed me one of the bags. Inside was a neatly folded outfit, simple, but surprisingly stylish. I took it into the bathroom to change, heart pounding with nervous energy. When I came out, Paul gave a low whistle. "Told you. You could totally pass for a girl if you wanted to." I looked in the mirror once more. Jeans, sweater, long hair, everything fit perfectly. I wasn't sure whether to laugh or panic. "This is ridiculous," I muttered. "Ridiculously effective," Paul said with a grin. "Now we're going shopping. Welcome to your new undercover life, Kelly." "How's it look?" Paul asked.